Is that my bestie in a Tessie? Oh my god, it is! Thank you so much for noticing.
No, this video isn't clickbait, and I'm so excited to be making this video. I've been wanting to make it for so long, but I wanted to wait a couple months to make sure I had all of the right information to give to you guys. So let's jump right on in. So the question I'm sure you guys are all wondering is, how did you get a brand new Tesla for free? I actually Turo my car out. For those of you guys who are not familiar, Turo is basically like Airbnb for your car. So you rent your car out to total strangers and they pay you to rent your car out. So by renting my car out, I get my car payment paid for and everyone's happy at the end of the day. I'm gonna dive into how I got started, how everything works, and of course, I'm sure the number one thing you guys are wondering are the numbers. I have a whole Excel spreadsheet and I have my computer on me, so I'll walk you guys through exactly how much I've made over the past couple of months, how many rentals I had, and the average rate, just so you guys can get some overall knowledge and be like, okay, yeah, she's making this up. These are exactly what I've made so far with my car. So just some quick background. When you look up on Turo, actually one of the best performing cars on Turo are Teslas. And I think the main reason for that is probably just A, novelty of the car, and also B, there aren't any like Tesla dealerships. So if you're someone who's curious about a Tesla, you're thinking about buying one, but you haven't obviously been able to test drive it because there really aren't places to do that, Turo is a great place. And actually almost everyone who has rented my car, I think, has been in the market for a Tesla. And so they wanted to rent it to, see exactly what it's like to own the car, drive the car, be able to do all of that. And so this is like a great opportunity for them to learn. Of course, there's a bunch of people who also are just renting it because they're excited to drive one, which who wouldn't be? Teslas perform extremely well on the app compared to other cars. One thing I also wanted to add is I feel like this will only work if you're someone like me, you work from home, or you have like a very set schedule where it's easy for you to deal with, renters, people picking up, dropping off, all that fun stuff. When you are doing Turo, the schedule is completely on your own. So if you know that you're gonna need your car for like a weekend, or you have something that happens all the time, you know that you're gonna need your car, you can block out that time. Nobody can rent your car. I also want to preface this by saying, like, I could totally afford my car outright without having to rent it out on Turo, but honestly, it feels a little stupid to pay so much for a car just to have it like sit on my driveway like 95% of the time. So I'd rather have it go out and make me some money. That way I don't have to pay for something that's just like sitting around, but then I get all the perks of being able to drive it whenever I want. So I got my Tesla in December, and since I got it then, my payments didn't start until January. But I signed up on Turo and I had, I think, 2 renters in December. I could have probably rented out my car more, but my friend was actually in town visiting. And then me and my family went to Miami for a little time during Christmas. So I actually kind of needed the car for a lot of the time. So I didn't have as many renters in December, but since from December through now, I've basically had a pretty decent amount of renters. And what's crazy is that's slow season. This is also going to depend a lot on your location. Being here in Orlando, Florida, obviously there's so many people who are constantly visiting Disney, Universal, people going to the beaches. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to rent my car. Teslas on average rent for about $100 a day here in Orlando. My car, I think for the past couple of months, has been listed at about, I think $85 has been my minimum. I'll dive more into that when I get into the numbers. The primary reason I did that was just because it is slow season, and since there aren't really that many people who are visiting in kind of January, February, I kept it a little lower. And also, since I was so new on the app, Turo also works like the more renters you have, the higher your ratings, the more reviews you have, the higher you move on the search list. And since I was just starting off in December, I obviously was like nowhere to be found. And there are a decent amount of Tesla owners here in the Orlando area. So there are quite a few cars that are available to rent. So I kind of undercut myself in a way, just to sort of get those initial bookings. And now that I've got quite a few, and as the weather starts to warm up and tourism goes right back up and more people are coming for vacation, I'll probably set my minimum to about $100. I'm gonna grab my computer and I'll walk you guys through exactly how much I've made over the past 4 months with my car. For the month of December, I had 2 total trips, and the total amount of days it was rented for were 4 days. So I had 2 different renters, total 4 days. The reason it's so little is because I needed the car. My friend was in town for like a week, and then we went to Miami for a week. So that's like 2 weeks out of December already. And I only got the car, I think it was like December 6th. So I really only had like a week-ish to work with of renting my car. And keep in mind, I had just signed up for Turo, so I probably wasn't at the top of the platform. And in December, most people have probably already rented their cars already if they were already planning a trip to Disney. So that's just one thing to kind of keep in mind as to why it was so low. But I was actually shocked at how quickly I was able to get a renter. Even renting it for just those 4 total days, I made $350 from my car. Moving on to January, I would say January was probably the slowest time, considering most people have left from vacation, time to get back into the new year. So I only had 1 total trip in the month of January, and it was rented for 3 days. So the amount of money that I ended up getting after Turo took out all of their fees was about $145. Keep in mind, since I acquired the car in December, I didn't have my monthly payments starting in December. They started in January. And just so you guys know, my monthly payment for my Tesla Model 3 is $660. So if you do some quick math on that, between December and January, since my payments were starting in January, I only made $494. I don't know if this really counts, but I'm gonna count it anyway. I actually made a new bank account for just Turo transactions alone. I didn't want, my personal accounts with, money for my job and all that stuff getting mixed in together with Turo. I thought just for my own sanity and being able to check exactly how much is there, it would just be easier to have one account that I use for Turo stuff alone. Well, Turo / Tesla car stuff. When I opened up a new bank account and I started making deposits, I think I got $200. It was either $200 or $250, I'm not sure, that I got for opening this new account and depositing money into it. So if you do the quick math on that, I was able to make up my monthly payment. Let's get into February. I honestly thought February would be less than January, but surprisingly there were a decent amount of rentals. So I had 4 total trips in February for a total amount of 10 days rented, and I got $627.45, but that doesn't really count. The day rate didn't really change. I was renting for about, I think it was still at $80 or $85 per daily rental. However, the month of February, I did have a couple delivery charges on there, which Turo allows you to do deliveries. So if people come and pick up my car from my neighborhood that I live in, that's like my free pickup point, they don't pay an extra charge because it's easy for me to come and give them the car. They don't have to pay extra. However, if somebody wants the car at the airport, or since it's like the Disney area, I put a bunch of different Disney hotels, Universal hotels that have a delivery charge associated with it. So if people ask for the car to be delivered to, let's say, Disney's hotel or Universal's hotel, they pay an extra charge that I end up getting because I'm bringing the car to them. That's the reason that the money is way more inflated just for the month of February, because each of these rentals were making way more money than just the normal daily rental price. My monthly payment is $660, so this was the 1 month that I didn't make enough to cover the entire monthly payment. I did, however, still have some extra money left from that $200-ish amount that I got from the bank. So I technically still had enough, but even then it would have been about $30 that I was out for the month of February, which again, is nothing. I would take a $30 car payment any day. And now let's get into March. I was really surprised by the month of March. I didn't think there would really be that many rentals. I still considered it would be slow season, but then I kind of forgot that spring break existed. And so I made quite a bit for the month of March, which I was pleasantly surprised by. I had 4 total trips again, but the total amount of days that my car was rented were 16 days. The total amount of money, $914. Crazy. And keep in mind, this was rented for 16 days, so just about half of the month. It's obviously more than enough to cover my car payment, so car is free, obviously, and then some. So if for whatever reason April turns out to be slow, I would have made an extra like $300 just from having it, you know, listed for the month of March. So that's super exciting. Although even though we're already in April, I already had somebody rent my car and I made about $91, and actually have someone picking up my car tomorrow, and I'm gonna make, I think, about $130, and April's just started. That's how I was able to get my car for free, which is super, super crazy. And really quick before I finish off this video, a lot of questions that I get all the time is, aren't you worried people are going to like steal your car? Aren't you worried that like someone's gonna be really reckless and get into an accident? How are you so okay with giving your car to total strangers? Almost everybody who's rented my car is in the market for a Tesla. They're really using this as an opportunity to like learn and drive. And on top of that, almost all of my renters have been like middle-aged men. A lot of them are, you know, in town with their spouse. A lot of times they're here with their kids. And so I don't really worry about like reckless driving given the age, and they're usually with their families. So I'm not super worried about people being reckless with it. Also, people are like, oh, aren't you worried about someone stealing your car or like not charging your car? Every Tesla owner has their Tesla app. And so on the Tesla app, I can actually see where my car is all the time. I can see how fast people are driving. I can see exactly where the car is. If they're driving, I can see where they're headed. I can see the charge level. And I think as an owner, that gives me a lot of sanity. I will kind of just check in on my car just to make sure someone wasn't like, we're going to Disney World and somehow it's now ended up in Alabama. And then on top of that, both of my parents have access to my car, and Tesla also can always see where your car is. So they are strangers at the end of the day. Obviously, everyone's getting approved. I also like to just meet everybody just to kind of run down questions and stuff that they might have. I think that that has helped me a lot when it comes to giving my car away. What happens if somebody, you know, gets into an accident, something happens with your car, because that's a huge liability for you as an owner to deal with when it comes to insurance. Could you imagine your premiums would be like through the roof if your insurance company knew that you were like renting out your car? So don't worry, on Turo itself, you can select what insurance plan that you want to be on. But considering it was a brand new car, I was like, I would much rather take less of the cut to make sure I'm insured across the board, just because it is brand new. Other than that, that's how much I made. That's how I get my car for free. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want a part 2 with more in-depth details, please let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you're gonna be in Orlando and you are interested in renting my car, I will leave the link to rent my car in the description bar below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.